Okay, we're back, so we can get back to it. Not that we're doing anything terribly exciting. We're making sure that all of our supermarkets are competitive. So let's be on that, shall we? Yeah, exciting stuff. Well, for one, these eggs can actually be raised in price because the overall city quality of eggs is really rubbish. Sydney just has really, really crappy farm produce, it seems. Our chickens are already okay. The ham, again, cannot wait until this stuff is automated for me, but for now, I need to be the one taking care of it. It's always promising to see places where you can raise prices, though. Raising prices on things that are really cheap feels really good, because just the margin there is so much better. It's a different story when it's something so expensive. Don't need to look at you, but I do need to look at you. Actually, can I just go up and down through this? Yeah, let's start with Chengdu. Chengdu, we are better, we are better. We are better, better, better. Vancouver. We need to be better. We need to be a lot better. Oh, there's going to be a lot of capitalism, Demon. This is going to take some time. Or rather, I'll be disappointed if it doesn't take quite a bit of time. I'm looking to get my fill of capitalism for a long time to come, because I've got other long plays to do. Poor They Are Billions sitting on the sidelines for as long as it has. Now, one of the really nice things about these goods is that I don't need to research making better ham or frozen pork and that. That will get better because of the training that's being done in my farm. The eggs will become better, all this food will become better, and that means I'll be able to raise my prices because people care about the quality and the price and a lot less about the brand when it comes to these. Okay, this needs to be a whole lot cheaper or else no one's going to want to buy it. Good vision on the freight cost there. Thankfully, freighting around entire chickens isn't very expensive, as long as they're frozen. Oh, can charge more on that. I hear there are people that actually don't hire COOs and they just keep managing this themselves because they're better at it than the AI COOs. And I get that, right? If it's inefficient to automate, then sometimes you just want to do things yourself, but there would be too much to do. That was just one supermarket chain for 5 goods. Imagine doing that for so much more. Whoa, whoa, why have I not jacked these prices up? Come on, Toulouse. And you need to go down a bit to meet up with that. A little bit more. I want to have 2 advantage over the local competitors. It's a bit too much of an advantage. And that's a disadvantage. Hey! Okay, so now we kind of pray that this is a good enough setup for people to dig me out of debt. And we also had our friends here, didn't we? Yeah, the Skelly Syndicate. We need to make sure they're paying for that. And stop our purchase here for now. It's more efficient and less expensive since you're not paying some clown to do it. Yeah, but it's so much work. Right, got that set up. Let's pray for the money to come and take us away from our crippling bond-related debts. All the while, we need to really start thinking about what we do with our leather. Maybe I should be getting started on my leather belt and leather wallet technology straight away. Well, let's ask ourselves if we can sell those in a supermarket, because that would be really nice. Let's also make sure that we save and save often. I've had this game crash on me several times over the course of me having played it, so prudent saving, can't recommend it enough. Right, so the products that I'm looking at here. Leather goods. It'd be really useful for me if I can sell these in supermarkets, but I cannot. General, department, discount, and leather store. Leather store probably being the best out of those. Designated shop for selling my leather goods. And as I get access to more other goods, it's going to diversify what I can create, and it looks like leather is the main thing. So as my own leather gets better, it doesn't matter if I source crappy steel or crappy timber. People care about the leather. Now granted, my leather right now is awful, but since I was I assume the first person to set up a... Why does it say that's a small farm? I'm pretty sure that's a big farm. Huh, that's very, very weird. Doesn't matter if it's big or small though. Yeah, so hopefully my leather is going to be going up and up in quality, and then we'll make good on that. But they probably also care about the tech of these things. Production tech is 50% for practically all of these, so maybe I should start researching leather belts and wallets. And the sooner I get on it, the better, surely. R&D center. Oh, these prices hurt me quite a lot. But at least it's probably cheapest to do this in Vancouver, where everything is cheapest. So Vancouver, I want to use my product R&D. Oh, that costs a lot of money. Leather goods, you're all going to cost me lots of money. And I want to start R&D on wallets for... how long is it going to take me to really make use of that anyway? 2 years seems like a long wait before I can start making these, but it's probably going to be that long till I have the money to get going with it. Yeah, start with that then. And we'll use the lesser known duplicate firm button and have you figure out how to make good belts. Because belts, I know I could be making straight away anyway because I do have access to steel, even if it's probably a bit of a pain to get it myself. Leather goods, get them all, get them working on my belts. Another 2 years will do you. Alright, shamefully expensive, hope I don't go broke doing this. They Are Billions is just not a good fit for the Jake market. The market has spoken, no need to feel pity. No, we will get to it eventually. It's just some things come in like a wrecking ball, you see. Skelly Syndicate's buying up lots of my leather. Monthly purchase of 300,000. Well, let's make it monthly purchase of a little more than that, shall we? As long as I don't lose him as a client, he's going to keep buying that stuff up. And he's still waiting on his cork. So, oh man, love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. He has no alternative for his leather. We have Monopole. How exploitative. Wish I could get a better view on anywhere else that I have. Oh, right, gotta take these things off internal sale. Apparently, yeah, it still says the demand is high for those. Actually, frozen beef demand is really high. Is this a sign that I need another farm? Might end up just coating this all in farms, which wouldn't be too bad. But hey, having more demand just means we can charge more money, right? Of course it does. It shows the overall rating is really high here, but that's because I'm selling it out of my warehouse for just 1 cent. But that's internal sales, so I don't need to worry about it. And we could see my own clients here are just my own supermarkets with a markup of 11,000%. Okay, how are those supermarkets doing? Always feels a little... yeah, feels so vulnerable here at the start of the game here. I've barely got any money, I'm barely making any money. Feels bad. Especially knowing that I have to make this money quick enough to pay off those bonds that I put out. But it takes time. It takes time to do things quickly. Big up that market share, please. At least we don't have anybody competing. It was important to me to start out in something that I'm not going to have competition on because the AIs are so much better equipped to beat me at everything. Skelly Syndicate did not continue to buy my leather, so I'm going to drop the price back down to try and entice people back in. Meantime, I can still keep on... I can still keep on bringing in my own leather here, just stockpile it and use it eventually. Is there anything that prevents the AI from breaking your leather monopoly? Yeah, or rather no, there's nothing stopping it. They could set up their own farm, make their own leather, or maybe one of these seaports will switch their goods to leather and they'll be able to import cheap Chinese leather. Which might be a little lost on us since we do have Chengdu on the map, so maybe I need some other cheap Indian leather. Cheap Australian leather? No, we've got Sydney, don't we? Cheap British leather? No, we got Grimsby. Tricky. We'll see if we can entice him back in with those low rates on our leather. But if nothing else, we stole a few dollars away from the Skelly Syndicate. Let's speed things up just a bit and hope that we do okay. Stuff isn't selling as well as I want it to. Come on, I want to really crack open that market share. This place doesn't look very profitable. Operating costs are considerably higher. Well, this looks a little bit better on selling the ham and the pork. My overall rating's so much better than city average. Cheap Brazilian leather. Yeah, we didn't get Brasilia on this roll. What are the suspiciously wealthy furries looking into? Agenda. They have Tech 100 and Agenda and are working towards even better. The Dance Macabre has created the Budweiser beer. Yeah, the AI is going to be so much more competitive on this run compared to what we were doing yesterday and the day before. Marine Park Empire product launch. Come on, game, don't force me to go crawling back to the petrol. The demand is so low. Oh, I don't like seeing this. We do have competition. Somebody else is competing us on the chickens. They're even making their own, the Dance Macabre. How could you do this to me? They've set up their own small farm that has chickens of better quality than ours. That's pretty bad. If they invest in marketing, they're going to drown us out on that one, meaning we have to compete on price. Yeah, our quality is lower. Our price is slightly lower, and that gives us better overall, but that's painful stuff. We need to hope that they don't compete on us on more products than just that. We're already making millions a year, but we need to make lots of millions a year. Time for sabotage. No. See, at this point I'd like to already be thinking about buying out my enemy corporations, but is nobody's going super mooning this quickly. Nothing would go up that fast. All these blasted private corporations, they'll go public someday. Dangerous stuff. But at least we are making a profit. Always good. Always necessary. You can see here that the demand for pork and chicken is really high. I might benefit from... Oh crikey, I lost my spreadsheet. The system wipe took that out as well. Come back to me, please. Where are you at? Capitalism Lab stuff, retail, products.dbf? Real world products DBF? Christ, now I can't remember what I had set up for this. Whoa, let's get that off there. It's taking up everything. Maybe I can blame all my problems on LibreOffice. I got it because I wanted to have a color scaling conditional format, and there was no easy way I could see to do that in OpenOffice, so I finally made the switch from OpenOffice to LibreOffice. Or whatever Libre is called. Yeah, it is called LibreOffice. It keeps saying that the demand for my chickens is sky high from the warehouse. Same for you. Maybe that's just these guys filling up their own purchase areas? Because I can see that the demand isn't sky high coming out of these supermarkets, which is what I would have hoped it would be, but it isn't. In fact, looking at that, we've just about cornered the egg market here with a single one of these going out to sales. That's one thing I've done though, is I've really reduced the amount of demand for goods because they were way too profitable to begin with. Yeah, I stuck with OpenOffice for a while, just because it was comfy, familiar. But LibreOffice seems to be where all the everything happens. And at least when you side scroll, it doesn't do it in reverse anymore. Okay, so these things are operational and profitable, but not by a lot. I might have to get on that leather sooner than I'd like. Real development on OpenOffice stopped when most of the dev team moved away to LibreOffice when OpenOffice was taken over by Oracle. Lots of terms I'm not familiar with. Okay, nobody wants my leather here. I need to start putting it to use. And it's so sad to see somebody competing on me on the chickens. It hurts to see. It's going to be a fight. Because if theirs are better quality, the only thing I can fight on is price. And that one can get tough. Because then I end up making more of a loss and everything. But you know that already. Right, dangerous stuff. It's been a year, and we've lost a lot of money. Am I really going to have to go dragging myself over to the oil? Well, there's not even oil available in Vancouver, but there will be oil available somewhere. Yeah, Grimsby's got oil, but it looks like there's demand for it. Well, it looks like there's demand. I don't know who's taking it. Does it not show who the people buying it up are? Not that I can see there. Why, thank you, Fish Lips. Whatever drove your generosity to subscribe to the channel? You're already a mod. Everybody already looks up to you. You've proven your capability at video games. Why would you come and subscribe here? For what reason? I had a little bet with Fish Lips yesterday. Reminded me a lot about making other bets with people. Alright, so I'm making money on this, but unfortunately, it's very low money that I'm making on these. Maybe I'll have to jump myself into the leather game sooner than I thought. But do I even have the money for that? How much are the banks willing to lend? Not nearly enough, unless I take all of their loans. But I still have all these bonds to worry about, and they mature in 2.5 years. As for $70 million as well, I don't make $70 million. Okay. I need to think about this leather stuff, and I need to think about it fast. Manufacture leather goods. Steel and leather, raw leather itself is all I really have access to. My concern is that setting up the leather stores themselves are going to be way too expensive for me to want to do. If I find my leather shop here. The leather shop is a nice little 2x2. But if I wanted to set it up in somewhere that actually costs a fair bit of money. Where was it? Was it Chengdu? I keep forgetting which places come together here. It is Chengdu. If I wanted to set up a leather store in Chengdu, how much are we looking at? And I'd have to set up the factory and all that. I don't really think I have the money for this. Oof, game wasn't kidding. It's a rough start just having the food. On top of that, I think these farms are considerably larger than we have the demand for. Although, all is not lost. I am actually making money here. If I was turning a loss here, it'd be a different story altogether. It sucks that I'm being fought on chickens, but it wouldn't be the end of the world to just lower the price of my chickens to be a considerably better alternative than my competitor. Also, my competitor is only really working in... yeah, they're only really selling here in Vancouver. So hopefully I can establish myself better in the other places. Speaking of establishing myself, let's set up our brand as Range Brand. It's my favorite one. Fish Lips doesn't seem to want to tell the whole story, so I will. He was playing Banjo-Kazooie the other day. It was a great watch, but I bet him he couldn't beat Mr. Vile. And he didn't. He lost to Mr. Vile. To be fair, it's not the easiest mini-game to do without the speedy shoes. Oh, right there, the profit's actually going up. I should be able to cover my bonds at that rate. Our growing market dominance working out to our benefit. Water has been discovered near Vancouver. Not this river, though. Another glorious fountain somewhere else. Brands is advertising Princess Celestia. So with a range brand, if I advertise a leather belt, it will also increase the brand rating of my leather wallets, but it won't increase the branding of my frozen chickens. But if I've advertised my frozen chickens on range brand, it's also going to make my frozen beef and my eggs look better. Everything within the same product type benefits from marketing that way. Alright, lots of deposits being discovered. I wonder if that's because other people are exploiting them. Oh, well, this could be to my benefit. Gold is now on the market. Hotel Giant 2, the video game, is now on the market. Zinc is available. Aluminium is available. Is anybody buying my leather yet? No, even though I dropped the price of it, it's not so interesting to people just yet. Now, I'm a little concerned, although I'm making money, I'm not seeing a lot of it pop into here. Come on, game, I need that dosh. I need it like there's no tomorrow. And for me, there might be no tomorrow if I don't pay off my own bonds here. Yeah, there we go. I'm crushing you on the frozen chicken since I've lowered my own price. Oh, but now you're getting into the eggs. There's nothing you won't stoop to try and defeat me. Who are we even fighting against here? Fortress Limited. Oh! Fortress Limited is buying my eggs and then using them against me. Which means I have clients here. Again, I wish I had a better overview of my clients for everything. Well, it's not there. It's here on the eggs. Yeah, if Fortress wants my eggs on that kind of markup, it doesn't work that way. I'm going to increase this so that they do not get much of a markup on it. They're not paying me much per month, but I always make sure that my enemies don't get a big markup on my goods. Managed it on your second try. Are we ignoring the fact that you also had a draw with Mr. Vile? On the second race? Maybe we are forgetting that. That's fine by me. Okay, unfortunately the AIs are probably starting to make actual profit now. Yeah, see, I have the most profit out of every company, but that's not going to last. Goldfish have created their operating system, I reckon, and by now are selling it for boon dollar. And I don't have the money to start buying up other people's cheap bonds. I'm actually pretty sad about that one. Yeah, I won't lie, I was hoping I'd be able to make more money off of my goods than this. I was hoping that demand would be high enough, but I suppose not. Looking at my numbers here, and why am I not looking at my numbers here? It's under L raw, right? L stock, L produce. Well, the demands are good, but it's just that they're not expensive enough goods for me to make the big bucks on. I need to move over to leather. Now, the demand for leather is really low, so I reckon a small factory is all I need for this, and I should maybe get on that immediately. So, hopefully a small factory will be enough for this. A lot of different places to supply with it, isn't it? Yeah, how can we possibly have that huge demand for leather goods? Right, I'll pop you in. Realize I'm spending money that I don't have here, but as long as I inflate my assets, I can always get a big enough loan to pay off my bonds and such, and then I just gotta pay off those loans, right? Let's make some wallets. And let's make ourselves another factory and make not the wallets, but the belts. Let's get those going. Oh, I need to make sure that you're sourcing your leather from my warehouse. Leather from warehouse. The steel, the Matthew steel, can come in from... Price is 56, freight. Wow, paying $1 for the steel. Oh well, needs must. We'll start pumping out our leather goods. Training maxed, even though it costs money that I don't have. Oh, why am I not training these people? Nuln Oil is making a game, Restaurant Empire. And I feel reminded that I should be saving and saving often. More freight than the actual cost. Oof, yeah, it's painful, I know. So, we got our wallets coming out here. Looks like we can sell our wallets at a much more considerable markup. But again, the demand is so much lower. The demand is like 1/50th of the demand for eggs, so this is going to hurt in its own way. But we'll get there. I don't want these on internal sale. If other people want my leather goods, that's fine. But it needs to come in through my warehouse. And I'm going to have just a wee warehouse here. Medium is as small as they get. And this warehouse will bring both of those in. My own leather wallet and my own leather belt. And then again, oh god, I'm out of money already. Okay, banks, save me from myself. 100 million. 100 million that I pay off in 5 years. Costing me a lot of the money that I make right now. It seems only fair. Give it to me. And now I need to set up my leather stores. So retail store, leather store. I just got to be really aggressive here with money that I don't have. It's the way forward. How much does it cost to set up one leather store? 3 million? Probably going to cost about 10 times that for everywhere. So 30 million for all my stores? I'll take it. Just get them in early, get those leather goods flowing. 69 seems pretty acceptable. I wish this wasn't right here in the center. Right. There you go. And let's make sure that you've got this going. And we'll immediately bring in that leather belt and that leather wallet. Wait, no. Don't purchase that. I need to make sure it's going through the factory first. I need to wait until it's processed through here, and then I can take it out of the factory, which is what I want. So instead, link you warehouse only for the belt, and link you warehouse only for the wallet. And then I can duplicate this firm and bring it everywhere. Sell our leather goods everywhere that we can, for as much markup as we can. Again, I want to set it down in the busiest part of town. 78 is really good. I'm not going to get greedier than that. Chengdu. Oh god, 99 if I could put it here, but there's a little bit of that, there's a little bit of something in the way. I can't actually tell what. It's easier if I go Control F to... Oh, there's the fact there's no road attached to it. That'll normally do it. See, if I was the mayor, I'd be putting in a private road just for me and my company to use. This is the kind of better life that our people can look forward to once I'm in charge. And I will be in charge of these cities eventually. What I'd really like to do is find a new and exciting way to drain the cities of their money, you know, into my coffers, of course. The trick that we did before by upping the value of land, that was pretty effective, but it was quite tedious, and I've already done it. I don't want to be doing that again. But if we can find some kind of other trick, because the cities have a lot of money in real world. It's a crying shame that that money isn't my money. 69 here, blocking other people from getting in a 3x3. Looks good to me. And you go to Toulouse. Sydney. Where are we going to go for Sydney? 81 is too good to pass up. And we're back in Vancouver, where I already set one down. So, goody goody. Let's make sure they're all traininged up. Where are they at? There we go. Train. Come on, everybody gets full training. I can't see a good reason not to. I suppose on my balance sheet, if I'm spending way too much money on training, then that's a good reason. But look at that, training is a pitiful cost compared to everything else, so I'll take it. Right, let's hope that those guys know what they're doing with my leathery goods. Although, let's make sure we go down to firm, go down to leather store, and cycle between them, because we need to make sure that we're competitive. We are not. That's scary stuff. Now these goods I should definitely be checking this on my own thing. Leather wallets and leather belts care about 1/3 for branding. Well, actually, that's what my spreadsheet says, but the game says very differently. Huh, this varies more than I thought. Still, we can't afford to be doing lots of advertising right now. It's unfortunate, but I think at this point I'd rather sell at a lower cost than spend a lot of money on advertising, even though in the long run that's a poor choice. Also, we're not buying these at cost from our warehouse. I forgot to do that. Terrible. Always, always remember to set these at cost. How much does it cost to make one of these? Costs 2 cents to make a wallet, and it costs 65 cents to make a belt, and most of that is down to getting in the steel, I believe. So what was that again? Oh well, no, freight has to be considered as well, doesn't it? So 18 cents and 65 cents. Oh, I can't even put it that low. Alright, it's coming out at $1 then. And these things can be sold to general public if they really want to spend that kind of money on my goods. Be my advantage if they did. And these are on internal sale, of course, otherwise people would just buy my really cheap stuff that way. Doesn't look like I have a lot of clients. It keeps saying there's tons of demand for it. Is it that my warehouse is still filling up? Looks pretty full to me. So who is all this demand? Not sure I get that, but whatever. Now, let's make sure that our wallets are, well, not just our wallets, make sure our leathery goods are competitive. Wow, we sell these for the big bucks. Oh, we're already competitive here. Right, that's good. Always good to see where the city's competitiveness is really low. It means that I don't have to try so hard. Yeah, there's one thing I don't like doing, it's trying hard. Okay, unlike here, there's really stiff competition on the wallets, so I gotta drop my prices down a fair chunk. Otherwise no one's gonna buy my leathery goods. Wow, it's a huge price dip in there. But it's all assets. As long as I'm moving revenue, my company looks stronger, I'll get bigger and better loans for it. And hopefully, well, that's way too much of a discount. Hopefully, we won't have a problem paying off the mountain of debt that we're digging for ourselves here. Excellent. Anyone mind filling me in on what rules Jake's going with? Rules? We're going for full-on dominance. How we get there is up to us. The only thing I'm doing is that I'm avoiding starting out with petrol because I did that on my previous run and it was really powerful. And you know, if you got a powerful way of running with it, I don't want to just repeat that over and over again. Right, apricot bio jam. I quite like apricot jam. Haven't had any in ages though. No clients on these. No clients on these either. But if I did have clients for you, then I'd certainly want them to have to pay a bit more. Well, maybe that's a bit extreme. Good to hook them in first. But again, I just wish I was told about my clients. Ah, here we go. Fortress is still buying my eggs. That's good. That's creating demand for something that I'm just producing anyway, so I'll take it. But look at that. The firm's proving rather profitable. I like that. Of course, that profit is showing massive loss on the warehouses because they have to buy in the goods and then sell them off at cost. A sad story, but that's okay. Let's keep a good eye on our firms, shall we? Cribbins, it's already been a year and a half. We're going, relatively speaking, to the moon, so there is the option of stock if I desperately need money. I was hoping our profits would pick up a bit more than they have right now. If I had access to textiles, I'd be making these leather gloves as well. Let's keep this open so we know what kind of state these cities are in. And let's make sure we save and save often. With a start like this, it's hard to take the idea of perfection seriously, but That's where we're heading towards. I'd consider what buffs and how much part of... Oh, okay. The AIs started with about 5 to 10 times as much money as I did. They all have incredible expertise. Level 100 tech at everything that they have specialized in. I will not be able to run circles around them. If can we see... Well, they would have invested a lot of their cash, but even so, $500 million, $500 million, $500 million. These guys have got a lot of money to play around with. And if we go for tech, you know, I have no tech that's above 30, but everybody with a specialty gets 100, and they're working on top of that. Well, you've already brought that up to 63 yourself, but your alarm clock technology is to the moon. It's one of the first things I went over is how we set up the place. The AIs have a lot of advantages over me, but that just means we've got something to fight against. If you're just immediately crushing the AIs, it's nothing but a sandbox. I wanted to fight me like we did when we had our very first look at Capitalism Lab. Aperture Science didn't go down easy. Yeah, demand has also been reduced by 70%, so things are not as profitable. They're still profitable though. That affects both me and the AIs, but the AIs have a lot more initial money to play around with. Ah, crumbs, they are really fighting me on the chicken market. I'll have to drop my prices a little more just to try and kick them out of here. The eggs I reign supreme, and thankfully my egg quality is going up. All of my goods are going up in quality because I have a lot of training going on for my farmers. You still have huge demand for this. It's the wrong place to look at demand though. And actually demand is pretty low for all of my farmed goods. So it's actually good to know. Because I might have thought, oh, maybe I should set up 3 pig farms, but no, 1 pig farm seems to be plenty. Unless I want gelatin, but then it wouldn't be too hard to switch you out and process it into something else. Hopefully the quality remains there, I can't imagine why it wouldn't. If you can process a pig into ham, surely you can also process it into gelatin. Same with chickens plucking their feathers. The feathers are currently just going to waste. Might not be a bad idea to switch out the eggs for feathers at this point, considering that this is more eggs than any one man truly needs. Could be a nice easy way to find out how that works as well, but until there are textiles I have no use for feathers. I should perhaps check what else feathers can be used for though. Feathers, what else? Feathers are used in carpets, beds, pillows, and of course the gloves, but then I need the textiles. Textiles are made of cotton rather. Which means I could make that myself. I could be a cotton into textiles guy. What are you used for? Cotton is actually used for a lot of things. If I set up a farm for cotton, I might be a popular man. And it would be a nice easy way to set that up. Okay, we'll do it. It's relatively cheap for me to set up a farm around here. So one big large farm that hopefully has all the cotton needs that the world will ever have. I can believe in it. And yeah, it's not that expensive to set up, so... tricky thing is... Oh, Christ, I should have checked when cotton is done. Sown in February. August, September, October, November, December, January. That's 6 months away. 6 months and not getting much. Oh well. All these crops into inventorying and sailing. Let's just go for it, and let's make sure it's all on cotton. Means a lot of expense on this farm that I'm not going to be using for a while, but that was my mistake. Probably going to make that mistake quite often, because I was thinking about livestock where you don't need to care about sowing months. This I do. Now you might think use it for something else until then, but I think if I did that... Yeah, sowing and then harvesting is more than half a year, so I don't think that would work to my advantage. Where's that cotton at? Wish there was a nice copy-paste here. Well, what there is the ability to have the blueprints, but once again I forgot to have all the blueprints for all the everything here. Not even sure if Real World has those blueprints pre-set up. I should look into that for next time. There we go. So that will eventually get cotton inventoried and sold. and I'll turn it into textiles. And if I have that, then I should probably immediately change from eggs to feathers. Yes, they inherit the quality. Good, so the quality is... Huh. I wonder how it's 45 there and 57 here. Perhaps it's better not to think about it. Heineken has been launched. Sad day for us all. Will the AIs take out each other, or will they just focus on you? The AIs will only focus on themselves. They will do everything they can to make themselves the best. And if that means they fight me, or they fight the other AIs, doesn't matter to them. They're just looking out for number one, just like I am. A good example would be if there is a price war, and we have that ongoing right now with our chickens. Oh, it's a three-way war now. So frozen chickens are created by Norwegian Wood, the Dance Macabre, and ourselves. Ours are the best quality, but we don't have the best overall quality because Norwegian Wood is having them sold by Fortress Limited at a lower price. So since people care about the price of the chickens more than just about anything else, in fact, indeed more than anything else, more than everything else, this is a price war that Fortress Limited is really getting into on the retail front. So I have to follow suit. I actually have to lower my prices. And that sucks, because, yeah, this is just to try and maintain my market share and not be kicked out here. The AI is aggressive on this one. They will probably follow suit. Looking at it, I'm being outdone on my chickens here as well. Just lowering prices, fighting to maintain my market share here. This is why it's so much better to go into industries that other AIs are not in, because you don't have this fight. It means you can charge as much as the consumer is willing to pay. So look at that, he's eating into my revenue. Don't like that. I have the bulk market share across all cities, but that's because I'm unopposed in Chengdu, Grimsby, and Sydney. And again, that's just for the frozen chickens. There are many other goods out there. That's why I should be keeping an eye on all of these, really. Those feathers, by the way, no need to internal sale it, but I do want it stored in my warehouse, so let's link up the feathers. Bring those in. Sure, I'll use them eventually. They probably cost nothing to make, don't they? Oh well, actually, feathers cost 24 cents to pluck off of chickens. There we go. How far would you undercut them while still profiting? How far could I? I'd have to take into account the operational costs of each of the retail stores, but I would honestly sell at a loss if it meant kicking people out of my market share. Because if you lose the whole market share, it's going to be a struggle to get yourself back in. And all the while, I still have these farms operating, and, well, I either shut down operations or I take the fight to them even at the cost of a loss. Quality depends on lots of things, but tech is a big player. Speaking of which, our belts and wallets will soon be better quality, so we'll be able to charge more for them. We don't have any external clients for our goods, which is good. We are the entire feather market. Can't wait until we're their entire cotton market as well. So, these are the goals that we have here. It's market dominance of everything. Currently, we have market dominance of the farming sector. That's probably not going to last because we're almost the only farmer. But I'll be looking for full ticks across all of that for this run. But that won't be game over. It'll be done when I say it's done, and that's when everybody lives and dies as I say they should. And they'll be paying me every step of the way. Nicky's Zunis Church is making some pound cake for us. Again, I wouldn't really call that big news, but there you have it. Man, we are hurting on the frozen chicken front, aren't we? I was watching Jake get tortured by Alpha Centauri. What did he say caused the crash? What crash? The crash we had here about 44 minutes ago? I don't know. The game threw me some kind of error and shut down. Same one I saw yesterday. But I've got the game auto-saving constantly, so it shouldn't hurt too badly. This hurts though. I'm not even the most profitable anymore. I've been overtaken by Goldfish, the Ravens, and Datadyne. The idea that software companies are overtaking me in 1991, the thought leaves me panic-stricken. Not to mention the fact that I'm $100 million in debt to Keeper Holdings, and I still have $70 million of bonds out there. I wonder if my bonds are available for me to buy back. It would cost me more than they're worth to buy, but at least then I wouldn't be paying the interest on it, so I think I will buy my bonds. Blurple and Goldfish bought these other bonds though, let's just get rid of that. Now I have another problem, but of course I have problems here. Now it's just that 100 million debt that I have that needs to be paid off in 96. Cost me 5 million annually. It's 10% of all the money I make being just blasted away on interest. Well, actually that hits a little close to home. On the plus side, we are seeing profit now from our leathery goods. Are we seeing profit from all of our leathery goods? Yes. And since that market is currently unopposed, I will be able to just keep making fatter profits on those constantly. Good, but I very swiftly want to enter other leather markets. We should go and, since we have the leather coming in, and we're not going to stop having this leather coming in anytime soon, we need to get on all of these leather goods. So I should already be looking into, even if I have to go further into debt, looking into other ways to get more of those goods out there. If we get off the diapers for 5 seconds, leathery goods, we've got the wallet, we've got the belt. I can make the textiles for the bags soon. I'm hoping somebody starts up a timber industry so I can make leather boots. Linen would need flax fiber out of flax. Oh man, I could have done that in August, couldn't I? If someone could yell at me in August that I want to set up a flax farm, I'd be much obliged, because then I can get into that. Well, maybe not August, maybe just before August, so what comes before August? July? Yeah, yell at me in July that I need to set up a flax farm. Just a small or even a medium one should suffice. I can't imagine flax is needed for many things. Actually, why imagine? I should check these things. Linen. Linen, linen, linen. What are you used for? Pants, towels, wallpapers, chairs, leather briefcases. Well, that's the one I was looking at, wasn't I? Okay, what about linen's flax fiber? Flax fiber itself is used for a number of things. Could even combine it with my cotton to make face masks. Not getting into that though. Timber to make paint. Ooh, okay. I reckon a medium flax farm should suffice. Don't want to overwhelm myself with the goods. Gypsum, lots of things being discovered near Toulouse, not my concern though. Ah, righto, righto. This profit is just not enough profit. We were already making hundreds of millions with fuel before. I think that's the noob trap actually of Real World, and it's not even a trap, it's a really good strategy. Just because Real World has made fuel incredibly powerful. Just find yourself a source for oil, like this right here, turn it into fuel, and make loads of uncontested money. It's not to say we won't be getting into that, but it won't be our first thing to do. Okay, I'm glad to see this number go up. That means in a couple of years I could be debt-free, but that's not how it works around here. Oh right, there was other stuff I wanted to see if it was available. It shows me here if things are available, so I know it's not, but... oh right, so textiles will allow me the gloves and the bags. And then if I get the linen, the only thing I'll be waiting on is timber. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good, and we have the infrastructure set up to be selling leather. Alright, good. We might be able to make some actual money off of the leather, which is what I'm looking for. Don't worry about the little initial red there, that's just the interest payments coming out. The money coming in should suffice. Since nobody else has expertise in leather goods, we can assume that they're not going to be crushing us on tech. Regardless though, I should be getting in on my R&D already. How many more of these people do we actually have? Let's use the lesser known duplicate firm button and slam down some more of these. I'll just put down 2 more for now. And we're going to start our leather research. I did not, when I set this out, I did not think we'd be going into leather goods. I didn't know what we'd be going into. I just knew that it wouldn't be fuel because we did that before. Okay, seems to be a lot of specialists to take in, so we'll bring these people on. Tell them to get on the leather bags for 2 years. And then we will bring in another batch of so-called experts and have them work on the briefcases. Was it briefcases? I thought it was gloves I wanted for the textiles and stuff. Briefcases I think needed a nylon or something like that. How quickly this stuff just falls out of my head. Yeah, it's the linen that I'm waiting on, not nylon, but linen. And that's when I get my flax farm operational in July. Good, cotton's going. I'll need another wee factory to be making textiles. I reckon a medium one should suffice. Surely velvet gloves. They go with the iron fist. I see you've been drinking a bit of whiskey there. Okay, it's a little too tight for my liking, but hey, with profit like that, might actually not look too bad on them. Oh god, no, look at Datadyne taking off here. Annual profit of almost 100 million. We're only half of that. The ravens, the goldfish, Guandu's supplies, even Nuln Oil, led by the dying Marvin Branach, is ahead of us here. We are barely keeping ahead of Shekel Master the Snake, though. Oh, and there's Tyrant Leon. I bring it up every time I see him, but it is the deepest lore in Resident Evil that Leon S. Kennedy is actually a tyrant. Okay, silver deposits in Vancouver, not a concern. We do not have the money to be exploiting natural resources anytime soon. Central bank increases interest rate. No, decreases interest rate. Can I refinance? I absolutely could. Stars, I want all of your money. And I'm going to repay off a chunk of that loan. There we go. Why finance when you can refinance? Curiously... Oh, I paid off too much of that loan. But that means I can take out more loan at a good rate. And keep her holding off my back. There we go. Now, I was also considering issuing more bonds. The bond payments are better, but I still have my old bonds out here that I need to pay off soon enough. I'm in more debt than I imagined, actually. What's better, bonds or the... Well, the interest rates are lower, but I prefer the flexibility of interest from banks rather than bonds. You never know when someone's just going to buy up all your bonds and then you're in trouble. Yay. I wouldn't feel so bad if the AI was in the same boat as me, but they started out with 5 times more capital, so they can slam down all their shops and not care about it. Look at this. Dissident Tropican's Fortress Holdings. They can just slam down shops like it doesn't matter. They're having a hard time selling their breadsticks. Yeah, because they're charging way too much. Nobody would pay $1.10 for a box of breadsticks. Actually, how much is 1 unit of breadsticks in this game? Does it show it anywhere? I'm sure the units are shown somewhere, but I can never remember where. Be terrible if it was per breadstick, but I'm sure it's not. Oh, it matters not. Back to Vancouver. It's March, it's April. Ooh, cotton will be coming along for June. I actually quite like this whole walking on eggshells thing. Ooh, you've set up a commercial building that is profitable. How much are you willing to sell that for? The market value of this place is 7 million. He wants 9 million for it. Forget it for now, Dissident. But I am actually quite interested in buying this. I would get land, and I would have the constant income from having this. Don't know why he's... Oh, but the annual rent is really low. Profit is pretty low as well. Yeah, probably not worth it. It was a consideration, but I couldn't sink the initial money for that. Don't know why they're selling that stuff. It's still boom time. In fact, it's boom time everywhere right now. Usually is at the start of the game, but we have high-level booms and busts. Fortunately, though, I think that the necessity index of food is pretty high. Yeah, necessity index for ham is 70%, necessity index on eggs, 90%. So even during a bust, people are still going to buy my food. Can't say the same for my leather goods, though. Necessity index on belts is 30, wallets, 30. Oi, oi, Yunji, building up a brandy store right next to my wallets. Not sure I can stand for that. Right, I want to make sure that we're still looking good on everything here. Yeah, I could honestly increase the prices of these. Because I have most of the market share. And my quality is still better than the average. Just gonna tweak that up a little bit. That's how winners win. They make every penny they can. Fight for a few quid, just like you'd fight for a few thousand quid. Wish it was just... If this interface was just easier to jump between products, I'd be so much happier. Because right now it is not. Let's look at our leather belts here. The leather belts hurt me a bit because of the high costs of getting my hands on that steel. Good, good, good. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that my overall quality is a wee bit better than the average quality. If it's loads higher, then I'm not charging people enough money. Fantasy books being put out by the Workers G. Workers G? Tell me more about yourself. Ah, the Workers Guild. Oh, that's amazing that Tian's actually from the Fuchsia Workers Guild. That's about as good as Leon Kennedy being with stars. If you're watching the anime streams, you know what that's all about. But Tian is from Kamidori, and Fuchsia's from Amayui. To be fair, it's easier to jump between products on that UI when there aren't 600 of them. Yeah, my biggest complaint is that you do the search product, and let's say I want leather. I put in L-E-A. You see, it's just taking in the one keystroke and taking you to the first one, but that's 20-year-old UI for you. There's no fighting it, there's no resisting it. Hey, so that's why I was able to up the prices so much. We gained a new level of tech for our belts and wallets. It's probably going to keep going up, because I probably have some old crappy ones still in stock here, but once they work their way through the system, the new hotness will be ready. Speaking of new hotness ready, it's June. We've got our cotton. I need to put that cotton to use. So I'm going to start by... Is anybody buying this cotton off of me? Well, they won't if it's on internal sale, but let's try and coax people in for $1 cotton. And let's make sure that the cotton is being fed through here. No, don't look for fed, look for cotton. Again, I need reminded in July to set up the other stuff. I think it was the flax. You're on internal sale at cost. I can't imagine cotton costs more than a penny to make. It costs 2 pennies to make. Do Americans call their cents pennies? Surely they do, right? They're not that heretical. Right, now with the cotton, I can start making my textiles. Should a medium factory be able to handle all the textile needs? It almost certainly won't. But maybe I should just make do with medium for now. Yeah, I think I will. Can't be burdened with such high costs right now. What am I looking for here? Textile is probably a semi-product. T for textiles? There we go. People are probably going to want textiles. Since it's available on the market, they'll all have to come to me for it. Make sure you source your cotton from our warehouse so you get it at cost. Oh crikey, I'm not training the cotton farm. Well spotted. Since I don't have my training centralized, I will continually forget about that. So thanks for letting me know. I hope I trained all my leather places. Every last one of them. Mark Drew says, hi YouTube scrubs. They haven't been being that scrubby lately. It's been heartwarming to see. Right, I am the only person with textiles. I'm going to try and bait people in with a low price on it. But I will make sure that the textiles flow back through my warehouse. This warehouse can hold 9 goods. 6 of them will be finished leather goods, so there's no big problem with us also linking through our textiles. Textiles work their way through the warehouse. Remember the flax. It's June right now. I need to know in July, Pandy. July, because the sowing season is in August. God, you gave me a mini heart attack there. What's the cost of our textiles? Textiles are made for 4 cents. So it will be sold internally for, can't even put it down that low, but 10 cents. And now with access to textiles, I can make bags and gloves. And again, I don't think I need more than just small factories for it. If it ever comes to pass that I need bigger factories, I'll probably just shut these down and make bigger factories. Better than having multiple factories, because then that means lots of things have to feed into one warehouse. Still, factory, small. Do. One here. Set it up for leathery goods. This is going a little smoother than I initially thought it was going to go. When I saw that I was only making 5 million profit from my farm goods, I started to sweat a bit. On the inside at least, but I think we got something going here. Leathery goods. Again, clicking on this. So the UI is probably the worst thing about this game. Mechanically, it's... again, don't take me there. Take me to leathery goods. Leather bags, textiles, leathers. Yeah, set her up. And again, make sure you source these from the warehouses, please. Leathers, textiles, done and done right. Alright, and the other one needs the feathers. And those are the gloves. Hopefully the gloves sell for a lot. Information that I don't have immediately to hand is how much the base price is for these. Would probably be useful, but I have limited screen real estate for all the information. I said I could probably squeeze a bit to get it over. Nah, getting distracted. Set up that factory. Make sure you get the goods from the warehouses. Warehouse, and warehouse. I like this design. I'm glad that the game sets this up automatically for you. Because, you know, all of them need the three goods. How do you set up 3 of them? Like this. Very well done. So, once they start producing both those goods, I'm going to have them set to be available for the public. Gotta keep a close eye on any clients I get. Again, I wish I had a better way of knowing who my clients are. At this point, why not put the data into a database? Because I haven't worked with databases in like 20 years. I would not remember how. Right, take that off internal sale. Now I always have internal sale on by default. It might seem silly because I keep turning it off rather. But that's because if the AI sniffs out something that it really wants, it will take it, and even if you put in internal sale afterwards, it won't cancel existing AI contracts to buy it. And that can be a real pain to shake them off if you know you want it on internal sale. For example, if I had my cotton going out at 2 cents and I had an internal sale deactivated by default, and AI would go, wow, really cheap cotton, gimme, the moment it's available, and then I'd turn this on later, I'd miss it. Better to have it on by default. Think of it as protection, and it certainly is protection here. So I turn internal sale off for my factories because people can happily buy it from me at that extortionate price, but I sell it to myself at a much better rate. I explained the reasoning behind doing the warehouse cycle for my goods before. And I'm sure at some point someone's going to ask again about it and I'll go over it again, but not right now. Leather bags, in they go, and leather gloves, in they go. Database queries are easy to write. Yeah, but I don't want to tab out of the game. Currently I can scroll through my Excel sheet without having to tab out of the game at all, which is quite nice. Old games don't tend to like tabbing that much. This one isn't too bad about it, but it does wee things like making your cursor invisible if you hover over it. And it always pauses on that. So these are on internal sale at cost. The cost of a leather bag is 84. And cost of a glove is 28. 84, 28. Oh, okay, well, we can't even go that low. That's fine by me. Can we really not go that low? Wow. Still, good to see that leather bags are worth so much, but leather bags probably care a lot about branding, and I'm not doing branding. I probably should. The earlier I do it, the more money I can charge, and I actually have income now, so I think I am going to start doing some advertising manually. The more you pour into it, the better it does, but I could pay a lot more than... what the hell. Let's do some branding on these brand expensive stuff. Okay... I feel like I'm missing something. Usually am. Doesn't matter. Let's go to art stores and make sure that they get these goods in. Link her up. Warehouse only. In comes the leather bag. And in comes the... I'm going to need another one of these anyway, so let's just slam you down. Leather bags and leather gloves. Move on to the next one. Link it up. Leather bag. And... leather gloves, and next, leather bags, and this is getting expensive. Leather gloves. I hope this pays off very quickly. Leather bags, and leather gloves. It won't be long until I hire somebody to automate a bunch of the stuff that I'm doing, but it doesn't include the leather bags and leather gloves here, that's for sure. Leather bags. And leather gloves. It's the pricing that mostly needs automated. Thank God for COOs in this game. Right, these are all here and available. I'm going to let a few days pass so that they actually get them in stock. There they go. And now I have no doubt that they're not going to be competitive against the city's current internal products. Might be a good idea to actually explain what that's all about. So the local products that we get, here we go, the local stuff, these are invisible artisans local to the city. So there are people in the city making leather gloves and selling them, but you don't see them at all. They don't have shops, they don't have people working on it, it just happens invisibly in the city, invisibly and untaxed. In any case, that is abstracted as there already being local gloves in circulation that have their own quality. So these local artisans have their own minute amount of branding, their own quality, and their own price that they set it at. And this is there to ensure that when you bring in a product in, you actually have to fight against something. Because if there was nothing being made locally, you just charge whatever. So here I actually have to fight against that. So since the city has these local artisans doing it like that, I have to lower my prices to accommodate. But I don't like doing it from this interface. I prefer to do it from here. I like just seeing these bars up against each other more. So I actually thought that the gloves would be the things that are worth hefty amounts of money compared to bags, but since I lift weights and drink milk, I'm not very privy to what it's like buying bags. Let's bring these prices right down. Oh, I'm liking the markup on these bags already though. Let's make sure that these are looking competitive. They're not looking competitive enough. I'm doing these too cheaply. So again, I'm just going to go through all these. And this is something that my COO will automate. Whoa, look at that. The city local artisans in Sydney are garbage. So that means I can increase my prices. My quality is actually a good bit better of them. That's probably not my tech on gloves. That's my raw leather quality. Feels damn good. Yeah, wow, Crivens. The people of Sydney have really got to pay for my bags. Excellent. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought Calc had SQL under tools. Doesn't seem to be that. I would not know. Is that OpenOffice Calc or LibreOffice Calc? Okay, Toulouse has half-decent quality gloves. I say this every time I stream this game, but there's bound to be people looking at this thinking, wow, this looks like it's the most boring thing in the world. And perhaps to you it is, but to me, this stuff makes me feel alive, really revs my engine. So I'm only too happy to be spending my whatever day it is tinkering around with these. Feels so good. Right, again, this stuff's got to go down. As fun as this is to do for a few products, I really want a COO already. I just don't have the money for a headquarters. Someday I will, though. I dream of that day. It's kind of like playing Factorio. You don't initially have what you need to put together automators, but eventually you do. I'm starting to realize that I think every time I've crashed it's been on this interface. Maybe I should be saving whilst I'm doing all this tinkering around. Once I've done the last one, I suppose. Whoa, okay. Grimsby has incredibly good leather gloves. Illustra-John, explain yourself. Means I've really got to bring down my own prices. I still make profit, but you always want to make the big profit. I can actually increase my prices around here a bit. Continue to... Wow. That's some expensive wallets here. I've never owned an expensive wallet, but I don't tend to go in for designer trends like that. Right, save our game. There we go. One time I had a leather wallet, it had this little metallic thing on it that I kept catching my fingernails on. That was very unpleasant. I have long fingernails, but my, that was painful stuff. Okay, I'm not done with tinkering around with leather goods. Leather goods sell quite heavily based on their brand. 26%, 30%, 34%, that's just for the wallet. How about the belt? It's all under L for leather though, isn't it? Leather belt, 30, yeah, I mean, like a third of their value comes from it. It's almost a one-time cost. You do need to maintain brand, but for now, what I'm going to do is... What am I going to do? I'm going to go into you, I'm going to go into you, I'm going to link media, and I'm going to find the best yet cheapest media place around. It's still 1992, so traditional media like newspaper is the best way to go, and I will spend ludicrous money on advertising the bags everywhere. It actually doesn't matter what I advertise because they're all part of the shared group here, but I'll go with bags right now because it's an easy thing to remember. Link media here, again, looks like newspaper is king. Yeah. Over in Chengdu. Actually, the radio is king in no, the newspaper publisher is king in Chengdu. Give me the newspaper. Let's start spending crazy money on our advertising. As the advertising increases, the brand will go up, and that'll affect the quality, meaning I can actually increase prices to offset that. That's right, if you tell people what they should like, they'll spend more on it. Capitalism is just wonderful. Over in Vancouver, TV station, oh my! The Three Mountains owns the newspaper publishing of Vancouver. That's pretty fast. Normally this stuff is government owned, but they're focused on media, so that makes a bit of sense. Point is, they have decent reach and a decent price. I'm loath to pay my money to a competitor. So I'd actually rather pay my money to the government, even if it's slightly less effective and more expensive, than have you profit off of my advertising. At least the government can put that into, I don't know, like social spending that makes people buy more of my leather bags. You always got to think in the cycles here. So that means I'm now spending $2.5 million every month on branding. Madness. But we're doing it. Let's head over back to Vancouver. Kind of sickens me that's our base of operations. Also, let's make sure we're keeping this stuff saved after doing these things. Can you have your own media then? Yes. Does it have a unique system or does it follow the normal factory production? It has its own way of working. You can set up your own media. You can buy media producing things off of the government or create your own. In fact, I could do one right now. I won't, but it's possible. I could make my own radio station, newspaper publisher, or TV station. I'm too poor to do it. But you can also do digital stuff. You can set up your own internet company and advertise online. But for that you need infrastructure through telecommunications. Either another company's or your own in order to get people online. And then you'll expand your reach. I think there's good money to be made in advertising, because you can just advertise yourself through yourself in order to get reach. And then once you have enough reach through advertising through yourself, other people go, wow, this guy has all the reach. And then they pay you to do it. So all you need to do is pay for your own infrastructure costs until you get to the point of other people paying you to do so. Advertising is one big con in this game. It's July, time for that flax. The question is, how much flax does the world need? I'm really thinking that large farms might be the better way to go, just because... well, I don't need to think about remaking them later on. But on the other hand, how much flax could the world really need? Let's go with a medium farm. And yeah, just all these crops coming in. A crop. F for flax. Oh, nice. I can just go AF select. AF select. Sometimes more is too much. So that's going to start sowing in a couple of weeks. And then I'll have access to my flax. And what did I say I was going to do with flax? I'm sure I had a good idea. Yes, the linen for my briefcase. Unfortunately, nobody has set up any timber anywhere. Now, I could set up timber, but there's no way I could afford it. That's some middling quality timber, and it costs about 100 million to set up there. No thank you, I'll be waiting on somebody else to do that for me. It would have been nice if one of the import ports, or the seaports, had timber available, but it would have shown on that previous screen if they were. Might as well just confirm it with my own eyes, because I'm not a particularly trusting individual. DVDs are available. I don't know where these seaports are getting it in July 1992, but they are. Also, Lanka. Lanka spread their dominion over a hefty chunk of Chengdu. I like seeing the AI do this. So Lanka is an AI that's focused on real estate. They're buying out land and building it up, and they should be making hefty amounts of assets, if not profits, off of that. Hats off to you, Lanka. Almost said tops off to you. Be something different entirely. Yeah, no timber available. We'll go with that. Training, Jake. Yeah, I really need to centralize training. There's a lot of things I need to centralize. Yeah, these factories aren't being trained either. Okay, that'll do us for now. We'll get those briefcases going soon, and hopefully we'll see a nice spike in profit thanks to those extremely expensive leather bags having hit the market. We can take a quick look at how you're performing right here. We're building up that brand. Getting 3 brand per month for that 2.5 million we're spending is rather nice. One of the annoying things is that I'd have to keep microing the price every time brand goes up. Because this brand is increasing my overall quality rating, I should be adjusting my prices to compensate. But I can't do that all this time. I need to get somebody else to do it for me. So after a wee while, I'll have a COO take care of that for me. Oh, there's a tiny bit of useless land over here. No terraforming in this game, in case you're wondering. If you want terraforming, go and play Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri, because I won't. It's almost as if real estate is balanced, if not abused. I'm not abusing it. Not anymore, at least. I've had my fair share of retail estate abuse. It's not to say we won't go in for some banking abuse if we can't do it. Same with insurance abuse. There are a few insurance and banking companies. How are they performing right now, for what it's worth? We have to wait a wee bit for that flax to be ready, so we won't be setting up a... Oh, I know if they're coming, right? I should be setting up R&D for it. Use the lesser known duplicate firm button. I'm not going to start researching... Oh, maybe I should start researching the shoes. Eventually someone's going to get timber, and if I can come straight out the gate with high quality, no one's going to be able to compete with me. And look, there aren't many leather goods specialists anymore, so if I get all of them, nobody else will be able to compete with me on leather goods. I will have this monopolized. Even if someone else enters the market, the best they can do is peddle to the people that want to spend very little money on it, and that's going to hurt. Well, it'll hurt them a bit. It'll hurt me a little bit as well, but it won't be devastating. Still, I'm going to hire all you, start R&D on those briefcases. 2 years as usual. And then use the lesser known duplicate firm button. And Yeah, I see I'm in debt, don't worry about it. Leather goods, hire them all, start R&D, leather boots, 2 years. Okay, so about this debt problem that I'm in. Mostly because I'm spending ridiculous amounts of money on advertising, but as we all know, advertising is one big con. The interest rate hasn't gone up that much, so I might as well just borrow everything I can. Actually, no need to borrow that much, just keep myself out of debt for now. Debt is merely a state of mid. Well, if I owe the bank $1 million, I've got a problem. If I owe the bank $1 billion, that's the bank's problem. Now, I want to check and see if I have any clients for my goods. Nothing's even ready there. Again, would it kill the game to have an easier way to check for clients than going onto these one by one? There we go. So, what's this all about? The Zunist Church is buying a lot of my eggs, right? Because they're making pound cakes. Devilish. I did not expect somebody to be buying my eggs for that. So they're making pound cakes at 30 cents each, and then they sell them at a markup of double that, almost triple that in places. Sounds to me like Voomer and her Zunist Church could stand to pay me a little bit more for my eggs. This is exactly why I put my goods through a warehouse to sell to myself. The eggs go into this warehouse and are sold to me from this warehouse at cost, which is just a penny an egg. However, if people buy my eggs, they have to do it from my farm, and then I dictate the cost from the farm, and then I go, how much should Nikki have to pay me for my eggs? And then I go, we'll call it a £1.40 and see where we go from there. He probably has alternatives to get eggs from, so I shouldn't push my luck too hard. Otherwise, nobody else seems to want these goods. If you know of a better way to check the clients that you have, please tell me. I suppose actually, no, that isn't enough. There are clients for my leather here. Greater Denmark and Skelly Syndicate are both buying up my leather, and it's really good leather, so I'm making them pay way too little for it. He's making watches out of it. Now, since I seem to be the only person producing leather, they are forced to buy it through me. So let's make it quality 30 leather and make them pay a lot more money. They might stop buying it from me, but that's still a win for me because they no longer have access to leather, and they're going to have factories that can't do anything. And if they do continue to buy it, well, they just have to pay me a lot of money for it. Big win for me. Guinness beer has now been invented. It's very unfortunate for the human race. If you aren't bleeding money out of every orifice, are you even doing it right? At what point will the AI simply invest in their own farms? I don't know. I don't know what makes the AI decide that they want to do something or not. The only thing I know is that if they are an expertise in something, take Double J for example, he is an expertise in watchmaking. So it'll be of little surprise that they are... It actually going to be quite a surprise if they don't have any watches going. Hold on, there's a better way to check this. Greater Denmark is run by Double J, right? So if we check you and we check your products, would you look at that? They're making golden watches and elegant watches and silver watches, and they're making bank off of it. Crivens almighty, Greater Denmark's making some greater profits off of that. Compare it with myself. Yeah, I make surprisingly good money on the eggs, but it's all about the wallets and the belts. Hopefully the others will catch up. Purple bar, good. Legitimately, Darkfire Phoenix, wood needed. I cannot make leather shoes until somebody sets up timber, and it's not going to be me. I could probably take out a loan big enough for it, but it's not worth it. Then again, anybody who wants wood would have to go through me. Tempting, but I can't justify 100 million dropped on that. It will also further make any other resource I want access to more expensive to set up my own RGO for. Yeah, this track's from Stronghold. Banished would have been a good call. Maybe for the next time I'll bring in the Banished music, because it is... Well, some of it's good, some of it sounds a bit... You you know. Sounds like something is dying on the inside when some of that OST plays, but some of it's really good. Alright, alright. So, looking back on it, I don't have regrets about how we've done this. I'm still surprised that frozen pork shows such a huge demand. Where is that demand? This is unfortunate. Andromeda and my bakeries have made competing frozen pork. As in, competing with my frozen pork. I don't like that. I really don't like that. And also their quality is slightly better because they put brand behind it. Brand isn't very important for meat or raw goods like this, but it still does play into it. I wouldn't mind doing branding if I had my own stuff to go through, but it's not worth spending a lot of money on branding this stuff. I'd rather just lower the price. Andromeda has pretty crappy branding, but they've gone really low on their prices here. So I'm going to have to follow suit, or else I'll risk losing my market share. Still, people that want higher quality are always going to come through me, and mine is the highest quality. This answers the question of whether or not I'm going to have people competing with me by making their own farms. Well, we can have a look. My bakeries have sourced their meat from this farm. And it's just a small farm. Clever enough on them, right? They knew they didn't need a huge farm for this. Also, they're making peanuts. Make all that peanut butter for buying in the pub. That is such madness. Who goes to the pub for some peanut butter? Still, though, it's not eating into my profits too badly. Despite the amount of money that I'm spending on branding right now. We're still looking okay. In fact, yeah, look, our overall rating for our goods is going way too high. This calls for somebody else to manage these prices for me. Since it's where we started out, we're going to keep Vancouver as our headquarters. And I'll just smack my HQ over here, because it's really where all my stuff is being done. Headquarters... No cost monthly. I don't like having the smaller HQ. I always prefer to have the bigger one because it's easier to click on. Unfortunately, it costs a lot more in terms of space. So, yeah, 4 million versus 1.2 million of building it up. Kind of difficult to justify. But it's such an ugly place for a headquarters. I always like having my headquarters at the top of the map, though. So let's just slap you over here. And there's the headquarters for us. We need a Chief Operations Officer. We would like to have somebody with an expertise in retail, because retail is what you're going to be working. But if it's too expensive, I will legitimately just go with someone cheaper. LePips, Pepperoni, Jake Blues, Senator Armstrong. I want Senator Armstrong. How much do you want? 8 million annual salary. That's 10% of what I make. Okay, what if we look for the most useless person around? Beatrice is useless. Emperor's... Wow, actually, Beatrice is about the only useless person around. How much does Beatrice want? Much more affordable. Yeah, I can't afford too much. I think Beatrice is going to be in charge of this. A literal princess. Right, I want you to focus slightly on market share, because we're going to have competition here. No, do sell below cost in the interest of market share. Don't look for better supplies, don't look for better products. Never change internal sale. Change the training budget. No. Do change advertising budgets, though. Don't change R&D projects. Yeah, that should be alright. Okay, and now I do something that's a little bit... yeah. I don't really want to put her in charge of all my shops because I've got these empty spaces that I don't want her to be filling up with goods, but maybe she can think of somewhere good for it. So, you get every retail store that I have, and now I'll just enjoy the disappointment. Hopefully you don't spend too much money on some other advertising stuff. I'll make a save here, just in case you really sink my company. Not that I ever intend on reloading anything here. Perfect, 003. Kinda wish I'd brought in Senator Armstrong already. He would have whipped my company into shape. But he just asked for too much, I couldn't handle it. Straight away she's editing the amount that I'm spending on advertising, and she's choosing to advertise leather gloves for some reason. She's just spreading out the advertising budget, that's no skin off my nose. But what's important to me is that she starts adjusting the price so that it remains competitive here. There's no point in having overall 42 if the city overall is 31. You should be bringing that right down, but I want to make sure that she is changing it. Actually, she's increasing. She's making the rating even better. Bring the rating down. Charge more money, Beatrice. Beatrice, please. I'm paying you more than I pay myself for this. Might be an idea to get myself a human resources department as well. Make sure that the training is ultra maxed everywhere. I'll give Beatrice a bit of time before I start heckling her over what she's charging for her goods. But it won't be long until we maxed out everything we can do with leather. And at that point, we need to consider where to go. The only thing we can't do are leather boots, but if anybody ever sets up timber or it becomes available somewhere, we're going to jump on the boots and start pumping those out as well. I think we have undisputed best leather in the whole city. And would you look at that, they're still forced to buy my leather at extreme prices. Every month, I'm making $500,000 just off selling leather to people that have no alternative. I feel like we could make a little bit more money off of them, don't you? There we go. Actually, I would lose out if they stopped buying it, so let's keep the rating at 30, shall we? Lovely. American coffee. What in the world makes coffee American? Nikki's still well, it's Boomer, isn't it? Boomer and Nikki are still buying my eggs at the inflated price, but what that tells me is it can be inflated further. Nobody's buying my chickens or my feathers or my chickens. Oh, well, this is unacceptable. My ham is being bought. The Fortress Limited Supermarket is buying my ham. All I can do is shake my head. We can't be having this. Well, I mean, we can certainly have them buying my ham, but they can't be marking it up by 128%. We need to make sure that they're paying actual money for that ham. Again, I want to keep the quality at 30, or else it's not going to be something they're going to be interested in having at all. There we go. I just love being able to check clients and then, you know, bring them in and then treat them like scum. It's how it should be. I'm starting to think we have so much of this ham coming out. It's more than we ever need. I'm going to switch production over to gelatin. And I think I might just clear out this ham. It's got to go somewhere, but I'll just clear it. Start selling, or start having gelatin available. I don't need it myself, but if anybody ever needs gelatin, at least they can buy it from my farm. Turn off internal sale, increase the price a bit, and see if we can catch a buyer here. Nobody's buying my cotton, and the flax won't be ready until April. Important question, pre-ground or not? On what? Probably missed an important part of that question. Oh, coffee, probably. I don't drink coffee. I abhor coffee, so no thank you. Good to see that the demand isn't so high that we're not meeting it with our wee little factories. Damn, Greater Denmark's clock technology is steaming ahead, perhaps too much. Also, my profits are on the way down. I have a feeling this is somehow Beatrice's fault. She's buying in beer. I'm not even sure we're managing to sell that beer. We're forced into a price agreement. This is something I do not like about bringing in COOs. If they see an empty spot in a supermarket or any shop that they have, they're just going to fill it with whatever. And I don't want them to do that. I mean, you're putting in... Okay, you're not putting in anything here, which is good, but you're putting in other stuff in the supermarket. Stuff that's probably going to pull us a loss. But, to her credit, she seems to be doing alright with the pricing here. Well, maybe not alright enough. What are you doing, Beatrice? Maybe I need to tell you to go for a more balanced approach so that you increases the prices a bit more. Can't believe I'm paying you for this. But hey, we're almost at the point of making 100 million a year. That's a good point to be at. Do I have bonds on the market right now? Yes I do, and I need to pay off those bonds March this year. Is it time to sell briefcases? I don't think it's ready until April, my flax. Yeah, harvested in April, and it's currently January. Once we have that, we're going to start making the briefcases, and then, even though I'm like 100 million debt, oh yeah, and then some, we're going to have to figure our way into another market. Yeah, I mean, we can pay off that debt if we just do nothing for a year, but then then we're left with nothing, and we still have to take out more debt in order to inflate our company's assets one way or another. Looking at corporations and sorting by profit, you can see that, oh dear lord, look, the AIs are completely running around me. Guandu Supplies, operational profit 400 million. What I would do to just get a lick of that. Datadyne at 367, the Ravens, and Nolan Oil, and the Shecklmaster, and Keeper Holdings and Goldfish all outperforming us. When it comes to stock price though, we are better, and that's probably because we have all these assets to our name. These assets being, I don't know, farms, warehouses. I actually don't know why our stock price is so much better. Probably best not to know. Ooh, something's spiking up our dosh. He loves to see it, and it's probably not the launch of Joan of Arc by the Blurple Busters. Is his mic okay? His voice seems higher pitched, says Swordy. Nothing should have changed, especially not with me. That said, I'll take a drink. There we go. Is this better? No, let's not do that. Righto. Maybe it's just the excitement of getting into capitalism that's raising my spirits and my voice pitch. What's Mr. Skeletal doing there? Which Mr. Skeletal? We've got the Skelly Syndicate here. They're into diversified things, but they've got an expertise in footwear. The Naked Scotsman seems to love the feet. Is he actually making anything like that? So let's have a look at them. Corporate details, Skelly Syndicate products. Yep, girly shoes, high-heeled shoes, leather, polyester. Can't make this stuff up. And look, they've just put out some new shoes. Daily shoes. That's a little worrisome, actually. That shows me that there's an alternative leather source available. So I don't want to screw over my customers too hard if they have an alternative. Thankfully, though, my quality is still going up on my leather, so it's alright if I just keep that. Hopefully they'll continue to keep me in mind as their one-stop shop for leather. Nice, we've broken 100 million. Oh, it feels good. Oh, right, the Skelly is set up here, making his brandy. That's a different skeleton. That's a Dance Macabre. Is it Macabre? It's not Macabre, is it? I don't know. Not something I've heard before. Also, why is Dance spelt with an S? I don't know. Perhaps Yunji knows more. Wasn't her English pretty bad in Stay Stay? Democratic People's Republic of Korea? Oh, that's the company I got in, says Acronymus. Been a lot of people putting in comments. I'm really happy to see that. When you put out a call to arms for people to contribute something towards the stream like that, you know, what's in it for them, right? Oh, they have to spend some time and figure out how to put something in. But it's always heartwarming to see people actually rise to that. It adds something to the stream, in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. Hello, Callum. I don't think you've made your appearance here. Actually, might as well check. We can set this out by name, and maybe, just maybe, we'll be free of Callum. No, we're not, because you are in charge of Leighton and Luke's Curious Consortium. But I don't think you're doing very well. You're into stock, and your operational profit is, how do I put this? Fiscally dehydrated. Alright. It's finally April. I finally have flax fibers coming out. I don't want those in internal sale. I want to try and hook somebody into buying them from me. But for now, I need to punch those through my Hang on. Flax fibers. Don't those need to be turned into not flax fibers? Well, it doesn't matter. Flax, non-warehouse, just like real life. He's all about that long term. Yeah, he's playing the get-rich-slow game. Internal sale on the flax. How much does the flax cost me? It costs me 2 cents to produce 1 unit of flax. How much is a unit of flax? I swear there's a place to see what 1 unit is. A pound, I guess. A pound of flax? Is everything done like that? But not everything is done in pounds, right? Ah. See, that isn't pounds, that's just units. Pounds of chicken. Pounds of feathers. But it's just numbers of eggs. The idea of paying how much for an egg? I'm charging the Zunis Church $1.54 per egg. I like that. Now, point is, the stuff I sell internally for 2 cents, and now I believe I need a factory for actually turning it into usable flax, right? Or linen, rather. Remind me, linen, what are you useful in making? Blazers, pants, towels, roll papers, chairs, pillows, da-da-da-da. Quite a lot of things. Question is, do I want a small factory or a medium factory for you? With a lot of things needing that, I can't help but feel a medium factory is more the calling here, so I will. Even though there's no way that I'm going to need a medium factory right now, I'm going to set up a medium factory to future-proof the company for all of its linen needs. That was a lot of words to say not much, wasn't it? Set you down over here, just have you set up for linen. And make sure that you source that from the warehouse and not from the farm, or else... Actually, or else what? It's not really any big deal on that one. I just prefer to do it that way. So it's already pumping out linen. Let's make sure that linen is coming through here. Not flax. Linen. And that stuff can be bought by other companies at a wee bit of a markup. Costs me 90 to make it, and I'm selling it for 151. That's too cheap. Anyone wants my linen, they really gotta pay for it. It's nice to be the only source of something, though. It really feels good. Okay, that linen was needed, if I'm not mistaken, for the briefcases. So let's get into that. I used to really not like leather. The idea of walking past a leather shop made me a little ugh. But today, not much has really changed. Factory. I'm still spending all this money that belongs to the bank. Cat here. Leather goods. Leather briefcases. Feels good. See, I've filled all this out. Nobody's getting my way of it for it. For now, at least. And let's make sure that these things are sourced from the warehouses. Leather and linen. The linen isn't particularly high quality, but I think when it comes to briefcases, people care a lot more about the leather. Yeah, 40% of this thing's quality is determined by the quality of the leather, 10% by the quality of the linen, and 50% by the technology behind the briefcase. Now, my briefcase technology is the standard 30, but it's going up to 54 in 16 months. Too big of a risk to see Heldon walk out in his new clothes. The only place I've seen where you have a weight of eggs in the making of pound cake, you want to an equivalent weight of each ingredient, but even then our recipe was just listed as X large eggs. Forbidden knowledge. Right, let's put another floor in this warehouse and make sure that we can bring in our briefcases. However, let's make sure that these briefcases can be sold to anyone who wants them, as long as they're willing to pay the big bucks for it. Holy crapola, that's expensive. The quality of briefcases everywhere around here is really low, so we should be able to make the boon dollar on the briefcases. Let's just have them processed through our warehouse. Make sure that they are being sold internally at cost. Cost of one briefcase being $2.43. $2.43, and we are going to sell them for not $2 and something cents. Lovely. Is this a fresh run? Yes. Is Real World turned off? No. We are still running with Real World, but I have reduced the demand for all goods by 70% because it was too easy to make money in Real World. On top of that, we have Omega buffed all of the AIs. They are richer, stronger, more technologically advanced, and more aggressive. We're feeling the burn on that one already. So, belts, wallets, bags. Good to see you're not filling this up with other crap, but let's make sure that the briefcase goes in as well. Should benefit from the... hold on, let's do Control F. Find my firms. Why are you selling beer? The beer is surely not making profit. Well, maybe it is. I don't trust you though. Look, it's making 4 grand. This stuff makes 160 grand. Not sure I particularly trust you, Beatrice, but for now I'll let you continue doing what you think you should do around here. I'm wondering if you're doing much advertising. Oh, this is kind of clever. So my AI Beatrice knows that advertising food is not very relevant towards its... Oh, she's already advertised our food. Yeah, our brand is pretty high on that. Well, I shouldn't stress out over what Beatrice does, right? If I start stressing out about it, there'll be no end to the stress. Beatrice makes sure that we have relatively competitive stuff sold at the right price. The freaking markup on our gloves. I love to see it. I'll let her do her work. She has no expertise in anything, but she's got gumption, and that'll get her through it. Those are cheap briefcases. It's because I control the entire supply chain for making briefcases. We can actually source that here. So here's our briefcase, and it's being made by linen, which we make in our own linen factory, which is supplied by our own flax fiber. No middleman, meaning we control all the costs, and we keep the costs way low. It also means that if somebody wants our goods, we can rope them in and then fleece them badly. But I don't think anyone's taking this. I really would love to see another way to... I had an idea. Can't we go to product details, us, products... no, I swear there's a way to see who's buying my goods. Products, us, all. If you can read this quite accurately, you should be able to see who is taking goods off of me. For example, somebody's buying my leather wallets off of me, cutting into the retail side of it. So I should be making sure that they are paying me big bucks for it. They have a price agreement with me, but look at that, they're making money off of that. They're not allowed to make money off of it. So if we go to our wallet factory, we can say, yeah, you're not allowed. Wow, lots of people are buying our wallets. Some of them making enormous markups. Holy moly, how are you making such a markup on it? Because people want the good wallets around here. Right, this is unacceptable, as usual. If people want my wallets, they have to pay me for my wallets. They have to pay me a lot for my wallets. I think I should just ignore the people that make crap markup on it. But not many people are paying me much for it. My bakeries is spending most money on it. Norwegian would as well. There we go, cut into their markup of it. Is anybody buying my belts? Yeah, see looking at that, people making big markup on my belts, not allowed. You want my belts? You pay me lots for my belts. This is something I have to keep an eye on, because as my quality gets better, thanks to my technology and my branding gets better, they're just going to be better things for clients to buy, so I need to go in and raise the prices for them. I wouldn't trust an AI to do this, because an AI might change the internal sale stuff. Then again, maybe she wouldn't. I told her not to change internal sale. She might be able to adjust the prices for me manually to ensure that we get the best on wholesaling. Oh, I didn't think of that, did I? What else does she change? Little risky though, and it takes away the fun of me telling my clients that they have to pay me through the nose. So I'm not going to do that right now. She doesn't demand Henry of Scallop's money yet. When our company starts making Omega money, she is going to demand her pound of flesh. She's just going to be delayed because of her initial low salary. Wish I paid myself a better salary. Is there anybody else that I want? Finance department? What does finance department do again? Probably nothing that I care much about right now. Lots of tempting things, but I don't have the kind of money to do that right now. Okay, although we're still in debt, we are making much more money, which probably allows us to make more money on bonds, and hopefully our stock is doing amazingly well. And we're still undervalued at 223. Apparently our market cap is $1 billion, but then the same could be said for Keeper Holdings. I think the other companies have lower stock price because they've been issuing new stock. Look at how many people have been buying into Keeper Holdings. And Keeper Holdings' own CEO is Pepsi Man, right? No, Pepsi Man's a venture capitalist, isn't he? Getting all sorts of messed up here. Where's Keeper Holdings? Here we go. Keeper Holdings is run by Jeff. And Jeff has sold most of his shares. And yeah, Pepsi Man, I'm pretty sure, is a venture capitalist and bought up loads of it. So by issuing loads of shares, I think that's been liquidating his price. I could be wrong on that one. Doesn't issuing shares tend to increase the price of your stuff? I don't know. Point is, we're still the best. Of course we're the best. Yeah, see, there's the thing. 5 million stock at a much higher price, or dozens of millions of stock at a lower price. I guess it's all the same in the end. If anybody's doing really badly right now, and I think they're going to do very well, this might be a good opportunity to buy up some stock, but I'd be taking a risky loan to do that, and if it doesn't pay off quickly, I could find myself burning badly for it. Some of these guys have lifetime returns in the red. Some of them have it very much in the black. Why would or wouldn't you issue new stocks anyway? It raises capital for your company. We could do that right now, in fact. We have financial action, issue new shares to the public. We can set the discount, which sets how many you're allowed to do, but I would never discount my stock more than the absolute minimum. So what I could do is, at a 3% discount of the current stock price, I could issue 1.2 million new shares and raise $272 million for the company. And trust me, that would be very nice. That would write off my debt and allow me to jump into multiple new industries. But there's a big risk there. That would dilute my shares by 20%. So I would own 80% of the company, and then whichever tossers buy up those shares are going to end up with that 20%. Now that's not a problem for me until I lose ownership of the company, when someone else has more than half of it. But even beyond that, I expect my stock price to go up and up and up as things go on. So if and when I want to buy back that stock, you know, it's not going to cost me 272 million. It's going to cost me like 3.8 billion. And that's before the people start going, oh, you want these stocks? Well, you have to pay double what the market price is for them. So short term, this would be an amazing gain. But long term, ooh. But then there's the balance. Maybe it's better to have this money now so I can jump into more industries, make that money, to hell with buying it back. Difficult choice, but I always prefer to maintain as much control over my own company as possible. Hopefully that explained a thing or two. I'm not very familiar with stocks and shares, especially not in the real world, but this is what I can garner from the game so far. Sack the experts, employ your friends. So at least your friends are likely to be loyal. It depends what kind of friends you have, I suppose. I have some friends I trust with my life, but maybe not with my wallet. Should I be concerned that I am not meeting demand for these briefcases? Leather briefcase demand in the world isn't that high. Or at least I wouldn't expect it to be particularly high. What do the shops have to say? Says there's pretty good demand there. Maybe they're just filling up their stocks. I did just put them in after all. I'll keep an eye on that. If I need a bigger factory for producing leather briefcases, and so be it. No, there's no way the leather briefcase demand would be so obscenely high. It's probably just filling up. That's what I'll believe for now, at least. Or maybe my leather briefcases are just that damn good. You wouldn't trust me with either, damn right, Callum. You tried to kill me once. I won't forget that. I admire the gumption, though. Okay, I turn to chat now, because unless somebody has decided to start exploiting Mother Nature for her trees, it's going to be time for us to move on to another industry. Nope, nobody's getting on the timber. So, where do you think we should be going into? I should definitely not be doing something that has existing market share, because that's going to hurt me. Bakery products. Yeah, but the only things available are ravioli, macaroons and almond biscuits. There's no sesame out there. There's no cream cheese out there. Hotels. You have linen. How about clothes? I have linen and I have leather. Great idea. We should be playing to our strengths. Since we already have leather, what can we do with it? We can check that by going to leather goods, checking off leather, and asking the game what else can we make with leather. And the answer is school agenda. We don't want to get roped in with the suspiciously wealthy furries, not by a long shot. They own 60% of the school agenda. Start worrying, folks. So I could make basketballs, skates, soccer balls. Well, I don't have rubber, but rubber's easy to produce. I don't want to get into watches. Greater Denmark has a specialty in watches. I'd be fighting a losing battle, or at the very least an uphill battle. But yeah, access to textiles does open up things like leather jackets. I was hoping there'd be other apparel that I could make. I already make the leather bags. Sporting equipment. Nobody has market share here. But the only things we have access to the goods for currently are the cyclet and the thermal bottles. Insurance company. No, not getting into insurance just now. We already have 3 players in the insurance game at least. If we look into that, we can check out AI strategy. And I think at the bottom we'll see that there are 3 AI banking firms and 3 AI insurance firms. 2 are making a loss, 1 is barely making a profit, all of them losing money like there's no tomorrow. What's a stock overview on those guys? Oh god, I want to buy them. Oh, I want to invest in communism so badly. Look at that stock price, it's pathetic. I want that. Tell me more about yourself, Communism Labs. I want to look into your firms here. Freaking Nick Brick again? Why is it always Nick Brick? Such a stupid face there. Yeah. Wait, that's the Medibay portable company. That's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for Nick Bricks. Who was Nick Brick working for again? Communism Labs. Well, apparently his insurance premium income is going up. Communism Lab has a pretty small chunk of the market share. 40% is more the thing you want to be going for here. There's a plausible chance that Communism Lab actually just goes under, and then buying them now would be a huge loss for me. But something always worth checking are the owned securities. Look at that. Communism Lab has $232 million worth of local stocks. That is good. That is really good. Who are the other... Oh god. Medibay Heating has $450 million worth of local stocks. And Old Men Company have that. Now, let's consider, are these companies that are going to be going to the moon locally? Stars, Keeper Holding, Wealthy Furries. I think they are. Almost all of them go to the moon. Christ, those are some good securities. I want them all. I should see what I can do on the stock exchange. This is almost worth doing anything I can to get the money to invest in their companies. I wish it showed me the company details here. I can't remember them all in my head. Old Men, Communism, and Medibay. They all have pretty crap. Well, let's just do it by corporation name. Old Men have shares in the public, but my god, that is expensive to buy. Even at that low price, buying 5% of their company is pretty hefty. Probably because they've issued so many damn stocks. It's Old Men, Communism. Communism's near the top. Also, let's be done with you. It's so tempting to buy that out, but I'd be putting myself in debt to be doing this, and that's dangerous. Damn it, it hurts not to buy at that rate. It's so good, but I just don't have the capital for it. Old Men in the Communist Medibay. Good way to think of it. I'm weeping here. The value of their stocks, their securities is so good. I just want to buy them outright, but I don't have the money. Dale Gribble has the money. Who are our venture capitalists again? Shadow, Oppo, Zhang Bao, Pepsi Man, and Rombic. Well, there's not a lot of interaction you can do with venture capitalists anyway. They just come along and buy shares. Okay, that's painful. I really want to invest in communism, but it's a price that's just too high. So, can't be doing there. We need to get back to thinking what we get into. I just got taken off on that tangent because somebody mentioned insurance, and I really like the insurance companies in this game. So, lots of things can be made with leather, but they're across a lot of different goods. So I don't really want to get into all of that. Wait until economic collapse. That's a good point to get them, but I need to have liquidity for that. Plenty of liquidity. Alright, what else can we get into? Somebody mentioned hotels, which I've never played around with. So, hotels need software, and that's always expensive to get into. Wouldn't be too hard for me to make this kind of stuff. Making software in general is something I get into, but there's a software specialist out there. Meaning, yeah. If Nuln Oil choose to fight me on any software, they're gonna win. Because Nuln Oil, I can sort them by name here, it might make my life a little easier. Nuln Oil with Marvin Branach, AI software. Really into... Oh, right, he's not into software, he's into simulation games. I swear there's somebody who's into software just in general. What are we into? Video software. Could have thought there was somebody who... Yeah, here we go. SuperPie's into software. Very cool. Is there an operating system? Yeah, the operating system was made by... Goldfish. They're surprisingly not that profitable for the operating system holder. Normally the operating system holder has tons of dosh, but considering that all he has is 4 factories and 9 software companies, he's not doing too shabby on net worth. Entirely owned by Zhang Bao and Lord Bane, go figure. But yeah, anything that needs software I'd rather not be getting into at this point. Is anybody actually doing gasoline? Nobody is. I mean, it's free money if you get in on that oil, and it feels really good to force other people to need your oil. The only thing that's really stopping me is that we did it last time. We do need to do it eventually, though. Meds. Is it just under drugs for meds? I think it is. Nobody else is currently on drugs.